Hey guys, and welcome back to this tiny corner of the internet. Today, on a more serious note than my usual uploads, I'm going to touch upon a recent occurrence of a very prevalent issue in the K-pop industry, mockery, especially of the Desi culture. You're watching It's Tale Time. I initially tried to record this scriptless, but I realized how angry and incoherent my words sound just ranting without a script, so to sound decipherable, I wrote the script. It may be because I'm a part of this culture and it's in my basic human morale to feel offended whenever an idol comes off as ignorant of my own culture and jokes around with it, especially when it has utmost significance to me and people of the same ethnicity. But I just felt like I needed to make a small, yet to the point, think piece about this, expressing my feelings toward this issue in this industry. If you have no clue what incident I'm referring to and what exactly happened with IVE, Eugene and Ray did a dance move from a classical Indian song in one of their behind-the-scenes videos and laughed right after along with Wonyoung. There's more information on what happened in a Twitter thread by a Desi K-pop stan that I linked in the description, so you can read that to figure out what happened as it applies to what I'm going to speak about in this video. Cultural appropriation towards Desis is very overlooked, to the point that I feel that if there weren't as many South Asian K-pop stans as there are today, it would barely be brought up at all. Eugene and Ray are clearly not dumb, just ignorant on their part as to doing this move on instinct. To add fuel to the fire, usually with mockery and cultural appropriation allegations, the company can be put the blame on as they usually handle decisions for the idols, such as clothing portrayals, scripts in live and variety shows, etc. Because, well, idols have little to no say in what they wear or what they have to say in front of the camera, and I do acknowledge that. But here, there is no leeway to blame the company here because this was filmed, well, behind the scenes, beyond the restrictions of their actions and words. They might term it as a quote-unquote trend that they're just following, but they have no clue how many people they disappoint by showing their insensitivity this way. Back to the point of how this is an issue that is overlooked in the industry. I, for one, have close to never seen an idol apologize when allegedly culturally appropriating South Asian cultures. I'm not saying that Desi culture should be of utmost priority, but when close to no idol is aware of how they're mocking this culture and hence not understanding its significance to the particular community, we start wondering if there's actually anyone educating them about it, or at least letting them know that what they've done is wrong to some extent. This leads to them repeating the same mistakes all over again. It is just a hypothesis, and please to correct me if I'm wrong in saying anything that I've said. It's the way that these means of mockery are usually mirrored across K-pop groups, and that a lot of them have done the exact same thing over and over again. Let's talk about the Curry song. I know that this is probably the most talked about topic when people talk about South Asian culture appropriation, but it's also the one that seems most thrown around by idols. Groups like VIXX, Oh My Girl, Stray Kids, and 17 have all fallen criminal to dancing and or singing this song. What's wrong with the Curry song? The blatant stereotyping of what Indian culture is about in a very negative light, making the country look unappealing and unappetizing by the way it is portrayed in the song. They refer to curry as something smelly and use shanti and curry as hooking words in the song, completely ignorant of its connotations and significance to Desis. The fact that idols are dancing to it and singing it throws me off completely because it gives off a good sense of their perception of India and maybe even a form of xenophobia. Oh My Girl in particular is kind of notorious in this sense as they're a repeat offender of this. Along with doing the dance to the Curry song, they refer to themselves as curry dolls and called the windmill choreography of their song Windy Day as Aladdin dance just because the song has influences from the Middle East. This just generally leads me to my last remark about how this culture is tossed around like a mere concept, an aesthetic to just look good and seem unconventional and unique. Nothing about randomly doing hand gestures that are taken from classical Indian dances and laughing and joking about them is quirky, and I mean this in the most serious yet non-threatening way ever. I feel as though there are barely any Desi K-tubers who touch on this topic at all, much rather help defend their culture by stating how it is wrong to mock it. We do rituals and customs that obviously have some significance towards us, and it is valid to feel offended and feel uncomfortable towards idols and or hold them accountable for it. This leads me to my last point about the fans' verdicts on these occurrences and how they help impact the situation overall. Especially with the current controversy with IVE, I've noticed way too many people talk out of turn. From saying, idols aren't meant to know everything, to saying, this isn't mockery, they're appreciating the culture, you're just like hating on them for no reason. Speaking on the topic when you're obviously not of the particular community and silencing the actual affected group of people, this isn't right. It enrages me that I'm apparently not allowed to feel offended if some idols have very explicitly mocked a ritualistic gesture or dance. I'm allowed to feel hurt and disappointed because I often feel as if they're making fun of my countries, my values, and what I believe in. Overriding my thoughts and beliefs on situations like this, especially when you have no say whatsoever, makes me really mad. But just overall, K-pop idols aren't children. They all have a moral compass and a basic sense of what's right and what's wrong. At this rate, they're very infantilized and treat as though they know nothing, and people love using that as a basis to defend them, as if they don't have phones, no internet, and are literally locked up in a dungeon with no access to any form of information or communication. Also, there is no way idols don't hear about other idols get into trouble for cultural appropriation. Why don't they just learn from each other? I feel as though if idols kept in track with each other, there wouldn't be any repeat offenses of the same mistakes, and idols would just generally be more aware of the variety of cultures that they might be stereotyping or straight up mocking. I meant to direct this mainly towards IVE because I was thinking of ulting them, but now I have no clue what to think about them because it was only a few members who took part in this, and it would be wrong of me to generalize my thoughts on the whole group. However, the thoughts that I've laid out in this video are emulated towards the entirety of the industry, focusing on all the incidents of this circumstance. And that's the end of the video. I hope my video today has been of some help in understanding this rising issue within the community and how it's massively overlooked. I appreciate a good discussion, so feel free to put your thoughts in the comments. This topic is of utmost importance and seriousness to me, and I hope I was able to justly express myself and my points in this video. This is Aloka signing off for today. It's been a long one.